So, Mr. Butler, I had you here because I wanted to tell you about what we're going to be doing today. Today we're going to be working on expanding this place, expanding the city that we plan to build. You, as my lord, know for a fact that I'm a hardworking man, so I expect you to come and supervise me as I work, just so that you can keep that, such that I can keep that belief of yours alive. But with that said, I guess let's just go out there and let's work together. I know you're just going to be watching me and making sure I'm doing things the way you want me to do them, but that's alright. I appreciate your company and your supervision. So are you up for the task? Wonderful. Guess let's go ahead. Hello good people, and welcome back to the Continental SMP. You just came in, you just walked in on a meeting between me and Mr. Butler, and we're deciding on what we're going to be doing this particular episode. And you know what, without further ado, let me just drop into a time lapse of me doing a lot of terraforming, you know, to at least form the area where we're going to build the Butler residence, like I showed you in the plan before. In case you did not see that, this is the place we're going to build the Butler residence according to the plan we have. Yeah, that exactly. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be working on extending the road from where it is right now, pushing it further to wrap around that side of the island, the northeast side of the island, and then we shall move on from there. Right now you can see it is getting dark. I might have to first take a go to sleep before we go ahead and work on that. Right after the time lapse, I'm going to be showing you some of the things that I've been doing in the create mode, and I hope you guys are up for that. But right now, let's just hop into a nice, wonderful time lapse. The night has passed, and that was a very long terraforming session. I enjoy the terraforming in vanilla Minecraft because it's hard work, but you get to use some nice tools like the ones I had here, the ones that I used. But let's just go and check out what we did, the terraforming job, and let me explain why I did what I did, and we shall move on from there. Hello, Mr. Butler. I see you attending to the horses. I'm just going to show the viewers around what we did and the plans for the Butler residence that's going to be on that side. So I hope that's okay, Master. All right. Let me just go and work on that. Here we are. A forest appeared out of nowhere. Well, if you remember in the previous episode, this forest wasn't there. And if you remember in my plan, I had a plan to have a forest exactly like this around this area, as you can see right here in the plan. So what I did is, of course, I extended the road all the way this side, and then I went to a spruce, to a mega tiger, and got these trees. Oh, look at these creepers. So right here, the land that you see encompassed by this forest is what I'd like to call the Butler estate. So basically the house is going to be here. It's going to be a little bit of an upscale house, probably made out of brick, as you're going to see here, and Then we're going to have a nice small farm, an orchard right besides it, because Mr. Butler was wealthier. He's a wealthier person, and he prefers to deal in things like wines and orchards versus me, who just can grow corn, and yeah. So that's what this is all about. It's basically that the forest that you see here is planted by me, of course. And I hope you guys, I can't wait to build this and show it to you guys. I don't know if it may be in this episode. I may just build the wall in this particular episode, but in the next episode we'll definitely be building the Butler residence. So coming past the forest that behind the Butler residence, or the Butler estate, here is the beginning of the biggest terraforming job I'll ever do in my Minecraft career. So I'm basically going to be taking this up to a hill point somewhere in the middle towards where the palace will be, but it's going to go up that way because if you remember your geography properly, as you go towards the sea the land goes lower, but as you come away from the sea the land goes higher, at least usually, and that is what basically this is supposed to represent. So but I wanted these large expanses of flat-ish land because of the style I'm building in, 17th 18th century mix, mostly 17th century Victorian and Georgian houses. You'll see what I mean, but with a touch of Victorian architecture, which these houses are still common in places like England and in the United States. Some really old houses do have that architectural style, but this is what I'm going to be doing here. So as you can see, this level here is the next height that I'm going to, and most of the expanses are going to be this wide, like like you see all the way from that particular point all the way to the forest. It's on flat ground, it's like on one level, and then as we go up it's going to keep rising, but in an undulating manner, where the slopes are not going to be they're going to be very calm slopes. As you can see here, this is going to go up to about mid-section, about here, and then this will go up again, and then go up again till we get to the what's that? Oh. Until we get to a place, I think, until we get to this area right about here, which is going to be the seat of our palace basically, and I don't know, it will be probably about 3 blocks higher, and I wanted it to be, I wanted these lands flat for one simple reason. It is easier. It will be way easier to build on top of it and to create my own custom landscapes rather than having to dig all this down to a certain level and then just raise it that way. So that's why I did it this way particularly. So the corners of the lands, like where the forest is, there will be a dip right there. Of course I may cut out a lot of that, yeah, and I guess you guys can't wait. You guys will just have to see it when I'm working on that, but that's basically why I terraformed the way you saw me terraforming. So here I am right behind the farming estate and the farmhouse, and that thing you see right behind me, that thing right there, that is what we are here to talk about. So this is my water wheel setup, or like I would call my turbine setup. So with the create mode, we are allowed to create to use electricity, so to speak, but it's not really electricity. In this case it's called rotational force that we end up using to power our what they call them, our machines that are in the base, that are inside the basement right here. What I did right here, let me try to go up there. First switch this to one axe. Just wanted to show you what I did right here. So up here is a collection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 water wheels, and each water wheel gives me about, you see, a stress capacity, or basically generates energy, which is about 256, and having 6 of them gives me a total of about 1500 and then some stress capacity, and then that stress capacity is what I use to power the items that are inside. So let me just go inside and then show you how I did that. Okay, so we are here under my farmhouse, which is the basement where I'm going to be doing a lot of my factory stuff. All over here, you can see it's well prepared for that kind of work, but I wanted to focus on what we did inside here. So right behind this wall of mechanical crafters, I know this may be confusing if you've never seen the create mode, is the water wheel. So just to express it to you, I'm just going to move this from here like that. Oops, I broke my... Yeah, but you can see behind there is a water wheel, and that water wheel's job is I use that with a gearbox, which basically is able to turn the rotational power at a 90-degree angle to bring the power in from the water wheel. So you can see that there was the roof of my dam or my water wheel setup. Now it brings the power in right here to this gearbox, and this gearbox does the rest. This gearbox brings in I can now connect shafts, those metallic things, to move the power along here. What you see right here is what do they call it here? A stressometer, which basically reads the stress capacity that is remaining in the system. And right now, because I've disconnected this particular contraption, it can show you that I'm only consuming about 1152 stress units. No, I'm left with 1152 stress units, and out of 1536 stress units. The stress units are that number of stress units is what I was talking about earlier when I told you how much I was getting from the water wheels. And now I connected this to a mechanical press, which I used to press the different ores that you can see I organized over there in drawers, and I use those different ores to make different things. For example, iron sheets or gold sheets to make items like the goggles I'm wearing, and the wrench, which is another tool that you use in the create mode. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description for those that want to really learn the create mode. There are some great tutorials that I followed, and there are some other YouTubers that I follow that make some good videos on this particular mode. Yeah, so this mechanical press is also one of the machines, and you can see it has a stress impact 128 stress units, which means that's what it takes out of the system. And right next to it is what we call the mechanical mixer, which also has a stress impact of 128, but it multiplies that by the current speed. So the current speed, that's what I'm consuming, and this mixer basically is used to mix stuff. And in this case, if I got two metals and I put them inside this, and then I put coal into this blaze burner, which heats up the bottom of this this basin, and I put in this, will mix the two metals once they are red hot and make them into one thing, which we have right here, which is called brass. If you see, this is brass ingot, and actually let me just put this there as a filter, because that's what I use it for mostly. So yeah, that's the mixer. There's a whole technicality on why I have this whole system over here, but it's best explained by someone that does it. But yeah, simply this needed me to increase the speed for it to work at a certain efficiently. So I have a system behind there that increases the speed of how this is working, and then I transfer it and use a cogwheel to connect to that for it to be able to work. Yeah. Now on this other side, I have a grinder or a mix. Basically a grinder, but this is the smaller one. I won't have grinding wheels on this. Actually, I'm going to work on them in this episode. While you guys see, I'm going to use the mechanical crafter to make the grinding wheels, because the way of making them you cannot use this to craft them. You need to use a mechanical crafter like this, which has a bigger grid than the typical 3x3 grid that you see in a crafting table. Yeah, but now this needs to be powered. Right now it's running at 0 stress units because I removed the power earlier when I was trying to show you guys. So let me put back the power and then you'll see. So I put that gearbox back, so it's now bringing rotational power to this direction, and then I use this shaft connect the shaft over there, and you can see that shaft is spinning. And then I won't need to use another shaft. Let me get a shaft from here. So shafts in this game are basically like what you would call wires, but not necessarily redstone wires. They just transfer the signal of rotational power. And once the shaft is here, I'm going to come down and just I want to place it right there. You're going to see why I did that in a minute. Come in this space, I connect. Okay, like that. I connect that to this, and then yeah, just like that we have rotational power now moving here. As you can see, that belt is now attached to this other shaft, and this shaft is spinning. Then I want to just replace these blocks. Okay, once I replace those blocks, I can now, alright, I can now place my flow of choice for all these machines. As you can see, I'm using the chiseled blackstone, and then I'm going to place this cogwheel right there, and just like that it powers this whole system. As you can see, now I have power coming to this, and if you look at my stressometer, it is now left with only 480 stress units, and that is accounting for also that other system that I have over there. Now I'm going to make the grinding wheels, but the grinding wheels are a bit of high impact, and I don't think 480 stress units is enough, so I'm going to have to create another way to get a rotational power, and that's where we're going to have to build a windmill. In this episode, we're going to have to build it at the south side, I mean at the top tip of this peninsula, and we shall do that shortly. But before we do that, I wanted to show you guys this mechanical crafter in action. I mean that I need all this andesite alloy, of which you know how andesite alloy is made if you mix nuggets with andesite, and then whatever stone of my choice in the middle, and whatever planks of my choice. So now let's see this in action. I've got my polished marble, so I'm going to place it in the crafting table the way it ought to be crafted. Now I have to be very fast. If possible, the easiest thing to do is to come in here and at least break this cogwheel, and then place in your items, because the moment you place in items in this and it's already receiving power, it will automatically start running, and that will might affect your recipe, you know, in the end. So we're going to come and put this in right there, like we saw. Put that there, then at the top and at the bottom. Alright, that was almost an exact number. And then I'm going to put in my planks right here, and then my marble in the center, my polished marble. Now once I power this just like that, it's going to start crafting, and you're going to see it in action. So it moves like that, and it's all going to come down to this central point. I like the animation on this, it's really interesting. And just like that, and just like that, we have crushing wheels. Okay, now we have enough space for the crushing wheels. So if I put one crushing wheel, let me say here, I can put another here. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, then I need power to enter the crushing wheels from this point, but behind it. I'm going to bring the power from the windmill that's going to be all the way that side through here, to the crushing wheels. Well, now okay, I'm going to work on bringing the power to here, but of course the way I work, of course, it's going to be underground. They're going to be underground shafts. They're going to just move all the way straight from the windmill that side to here. So we're just going to hop into a time lapse of me building the windmill, and maybe what you may want me to go through is how we make a windmill. To make a windmill, we need a windmill bearing, this one, and that one just needs a turntable, diorite or any other stone, and a shaft. And the turntable needs just a slab and a shaft, you know. So that's easy. And then the sticky part, you just need slime. Alright, let me just hop on over to one of my spider trees. But as you can see, the windmill is complete. Let's go. We're going to go and take a closer look in a second. I just need to get some just need to keep harvesting some of this cobweb or string that is on these trees, because I need a little bit more wool. So in this particular mod pack, this is the easiest way for us to get wool, and for in the create mode you need wool, especially for the windmill, because the windmill is an upgrade to the water wheel and maybe any other. It's basically the second best, or no, like third best way to generate power in the create mode. Luckily enough, we also have Palms Harvest Craft, which gives us these trees that grow things like spider webs, which makes getting string easier. Oh, I was almost forgetting my horse. Yes, but now let's go check out this place in Insidious. Let me show you what I did and all that stuff, all the good stuff. So basically, I built, well, a windmill house, very square. It kind of becomes smaller as it goes up, with a couple of overlooks. But then coming in here, you're going to notice something. So we have this place here. It's pretty nothing much, but you can see that you can see a rotating shaft right there. This is how I brought the power all the way from up top, and then I brought it all the way down here, and it's going to go straight into the ground. And then I'm going to create an underground network that's going to take power to the farmhouse, and it's also going to be the same network that will take power to the butler residence that's going to be on that side of the island. Right up next is this is me transitioning the rotational power all the way from up, bringing it down, and then I used a couple of gearboxes to just make it at the right angle, because I needed to have the space for me to be able to walk. And then up is basically the main deck, or maybe service area for this particular place. A couple of chests here to be used, but then the overlook, I mostly like this for the overlook because I can see the ocean in here, and I can also see the farm, though the one below also did kind of the same thing. This one down below here, see, I was kind of able to also see or look over the farm, but that's the purpose of this particular place. But let's going back up here. Yeah, and now when you look in here, this shaft goes all the way up to the top, connecting to the windmill bearing, and I connected to the windmill bearing using a gearbox. And then the gearbox moves the rotational power at a 90-degree angle for me to bring it straight down through here, and then I'm going to take it through the ground basically and create a network. Hopefully I'll be able to do that, and maybe that network, I'll be able to add more stuff to that network underground, and use it to supply different houses, more like internet cables or fiber. But that's pretty much it. Let me just move to that and show you. And then move to, yes, then move to the scaffolding right over here to show you the place better. Yeah, so that's the windmill. This is not the final form. I want to add a bit more of wool to it, you know, to create a another shape, but I kind of like how it is right now. It's pretty basic, but it's right now generating about 1024 stress units, which is not much, but as I add more wool to the windmill, it will generate a little bit more, and that's basically the game plan. I can still add one more piece of wool here on each of them, and then I can top up on top of that, you know, to create the total I want this to be at is about 2000 stress units, which is what I'm going to use. I am really enjoying playing around with the create mode because it just adds so much function to the game, and it just adds a lot more, and it makes the world feel like a world, you know, like the house is more functional, and we have places like this that are just so much fun. So that's the reason why I'm enjoying I am enjoying playing with this particular mod. I guess I'll have to leave it at here. I thought I would add more. I wanted to build the wall, but I guess we'll leave that entirely for the next episode. The wall is going to be the wall around the butler residence, and I guess you'll see that I'll build that along with the butler residence, which is going to be a more upscale version of this farmhouse. It's not going to be as big, but it's going to use more expensive materials. And remember, I told it's mainly an orchard, so that is what it's going to be known for, pretty much. Yeah, so I guess that has been your video, guys. Do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, because that helps me a lot. Thank you for watching all the way to this point, and in case you have any comments, any suggestions, you can leave them down below. But till then, it's been me, Mr. Passion, and bye for now.